The machine beside my bed kept beeping, slow and tired, like it already knew I was done. I stared at the cracked ceiling and laughed under my breath. "So this is how I end," I whispered. No answer came, only the hum of wires and my own breathing. The door opened. A nurse said, "You have a visitor." Her voice was careful, like she was warning me. Lena walked in wearing a white dress. Not a wedding dress, but close enough to hurt. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. I said, "You look happy." She avoided my eyes. "I didn't come to fight." "Then why are you here?" My throat burned after every word. She folded her hands. "I wanted you to hear it from me, not from someone else." "Hear what?" I already knew. My chest still tightened. "I'm getting married," she said. "Next month." I nodded slowly. "Congratulations." She swallowed. "It's Armin." The room felt smaller. "My Armin?" I asked, even though there was only one. She said nothing. That silence was louder than any scream. I turned my head away before she could see my eyes burn. "You promised me forever," I said. "You said he was like a brother." "He understands me," she replied softly. "You were always busy. Always tired. Always dreaming." "I was building our future," I said. She shook her head. "You were building yours." The door opened again before I could answer. Armin stepped in, hands in his pockets, face calm. "I didn't expect you'd still be awake." I laughed weakly. "You always show up at the end, don't you?" Lena stood. "I'll wait outside." She didn't look back. Armin pulled a chair closer. "You look bad." "Funny," I said. "You look rich." He sighed. "The company is doing well." "My company," I said. "Our company," he corrected. "You signed everything over." "I trusted you," I said. "I trusted you like blood." He leaned forward. "Trust doesn't pay debts." "I never had debts," I said. "You created them." He smiled thinly. "That's business." I wanted to hit him, but my body wouldn't listen. "Get out," I said. "Take care," he replied. "What's left of you?" After he left, I closed my eyes. Footsteps came again. This time, I smelled cheap cologne. Rizwan said, "You always were dramatic." I opened my eyes. "What do you want now?" "To inform you," he said calmly. "Your father's house is sold." I tried to sit up. "That's impossible." "You signed the papers," he said. "Your signature was very convincing." "You forged it," I said. He shrugged. "You weren't using it." "That house was my father," I whispered. "It was all I had." "You had us," he said. "And you wasted us." The beeping grew faster. My chest felt like it was tearing apart. Rizwan stood. "Rest well, cousin." When the room went quiet, I stared at my hands. I remembered every time I said yes. Every time I helped. Every time I stayed silent. I was kind, I said to the empty room. And you all fed on it. The machine screamed. Pain flooded me. My vision darkened. As everything faded, one thought burned through me. If I had one more chance, I wouldn't be weak again. I woke up gasping, tangled in sheets that smelled like my old room. My heart raced. Something felt wrong. I reached for my phone. The date blinked back at me, 10 years ago. My stomach dropped. This can't be real, I whispered, voice shaking. Calm down, son. My mother's voice came from the doorway. Younger, less tired than I remembered. You've been sick, you fainted. I fainted? Mom, the hospital, my words caught. The memory of machines, beeps, and Lena's voice filled me. Everything. Every betrayal. Every stab in my back. I pressed my hands against my chest. No, this isn't fainting. I died. I remember dying. My mother frowned, confused. Died? What are you saying? I got up unsteadily, looking at the furniture, the faded posters, my old textbooks. Everything was smaller, simpler. It's me. I've gone back. 10 years. I'm back. You're scaring me, Mom said, taking my hands. You need to rest. No, Mom. Listen. My voice grew firm. I remember everything that will happen. Armin. Lena. Rizwan. They'll betray me. They'll take everything. Mom's eyes widened, but she didn't understand. Of course she didn't. Nobody could. I clenched my fists. This time, I won't be a fool. I walked out into the street, the early morning air sharp and cold. Everything felt alive, and I could see the people I used to trust. Armin laughed with his friends, Lena walked beside him, oblivious to the storm I carried. Rizwan waved at me from a distance, smiling as if nothing would ever change. I gritted my teeth. They don't know me yet. Not this me. And I know every mistake I made. I went back home and stared at my reflection. Younger, weaker, but sharper. I have 10 years, I whispered. 10 years to prepare, to learn, to grow. And when they think I'm the same weak fool, I won't be. The memories of my death were vivid, Lena's smile turning cruel, Armin's smug face, Rizwan's cold calculation. I swallowed. I remember it all. And I remember the pain. I will not let it happen again. The first step was small. I needed allies, knowledge, strength. I thought of Sarah, the quiet girl from class, the one who had warned me about Armin. If she could remember the past with me, maybe I wouldn't have to do everything alone. I pulled out my old notebook, the one I used to write plans and dreams in. Now it felt different. This was no longer about hope. This was about preparation. I will be smarter, I muttered. I will be stronger. And I will survive this life the way I should have the first time. I closed the notebook, feeling a strange calm. The world hadn't changed yet. But I had. And that was enough. 10 years of mistakes, 10 years of pain, and I would use them all. They had taken everything once. This time, I would take it back, on my terms. Armin leaned back in his chair and laughed. You're quiet today. Thinking again? I smiled, the old familiar one he trusted. Just tired. He nodded like he understood everything about me. Good. Then you won't overthink this idea. He slid a paper toward me. It's solid. We just need your input. In my past life, I would have argued, corrected him, tried to save him. This time, I nodded. Looks fine. He grinned. See? I told Lena you were finally learning. Lena sat beside him, watching me closely. You're not upset about yesterday? I shrugged. Why would I be? You didn't call, she said. I fell asleep early, I replied. Her eyes narrowed. That's new. People change, I said lightly. She laughed, but it sounded forced. Don't get ideas. Armin slapped my shoulder. He won't. He's loyal. I almost laughed. Instead, I said, always. Later that day, Rizwan cornered me outside. You seem relaxed. I am, I said. That worries me, he replied. You usually complain. Complaining never helped, I said. He studied my face. You're hiding something. Just learning, I said. From you. That pleased him. Good. Stick close. You'll benefit. I nodded again. Inside, I memorized every word, every lie. At night, I sat alone counting money I had secretly saved. It wasn't much, but it was mine. No one knew. No one would touch it. The next morning, Sarah stopped me near the gate. You look different. Different how? I asked. Calmer, she said. Or emptier. I smiled. You always overthink. She crossed her arms. Armin asked you for money again, didn't he? I hesitated just enough. It's normal. It wasn't normal last time either, she said quietly. You ignored me then. I looked at her. Really looked. What would you do? She blinked. I'd stop saving people who enjoyed drowning me. Her words stayed with me all day. That evening, Armin called. We need more funds. I sighed into the phone. I don't have it. Silence. Then laughter. You're joking. I wish I was, I said. Lena grabbed the phone. You promised. I promised effort, I replied. Not blood. She snapped, you're being selfish. I smiled to myself. Maybe I'm learning. Armin took the phone back. We'll talk tomorrow. Sure, I said. When I hung up, my hands shook, not from fear, but control. Saying no felt heavier than giving everything away. I opened my notebook and wrote one line. Let them believe I'm the same. Then another. Let them underestimate me. Outside, laughter echoed from somewhere far away. I closed the notebook slowly. I wasn't pretending for them. I was protecting myself. Armin burst into the office, grinning like he always did. I've got a new plan, he said, tossing a folder on my desk. This one's foolproof. I glanced at the folder. Looks risky. Risky? No. Exciting, he corrected. Come on, you always overthink. I nodded slowly, keeping my face calm. If you say so. Lena peeked over his shoulder. I trust your judgment, she said sweetly. I smiled faintly. Thanks. That means a lot. Inside, my heart beat fast. I remembered exactly how this plan would blow up in their faces if unchecked. But I stayed silent. Rizwan appeared at the doorway. Don't ignore me, he said. I need your take too. You're getting it, I replied, letting my tone sound casual. He raised an eyebrow. You're different. More quiet. Learning from mistakes, I said. Smart, Rizwan murmured, satisfied. Later, Armin and Rizwan stayed late, hashing out numbers. I pretended to doodle while memorizing every detail. I knew where the weak spots were, where greed would take over. One wrong move and the whole thing would collapse. I left the office quietly and ran into Sarah outside. You look tense, she said. I'm fine, I said. No, you're not, she insisted. You're hiding something big. I smiled faintly. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just smarter this time. She shook her head. I hope you're careful. People like Armin don't play fair. I know, I said. That's why I'm letting them make the first mistake. The next day, Armin called me over. We need your signature on this deal, he said, spreading papers across the table. I leaned back, pretending indecision. Are you sure it's safe? He laughed. Safe isn't exciting. Trust me. I nodded slowly, pretending agreement. If you're confident. Exactly, he said. Rizwan added, I'd say it's perfect. You'll thank us later. I pressed my lips together. I remembered every consequence, every hidden pitfall. This would be their first step toward disaster, and I wouldn't lift a finger. That evening, I sat on my bed, staring at my notebook. I had to stay patient. I had to stay invisible. One wrong move from me, and they might suspect. I whispered to myself, let them climb, let them fall. I'll be ready when the time comes. Outside, the city lights blurred through the window. I could hear laughter from somewhere far off, Armin and Lena celebrating success they hadn't earned yet. I smiled faintly, letting the first true sense of control settle inside me. The cracks had begun. And I was waiting. Armin slammed his hand on the table and laughed. So that's it? You're quitting. I'm stepping back, I said calmly. Lena crossed her arms. After everything we planned? I never signed anything, I replied. Rizwan smiled like he was amused. You're afraid. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I'm tired of carrying everyone. Armin leaned closer. Don't act smart now. You'll regret this. I've regretted worse, I said. Lena scoffed. You think you're better than us? No, I said. I think I'm done. She laughed loudly. You'll crawl back. I stood up. I won't. Armin clapped slowly. Look at him. Walking away like a hero. Rizwan added, he's always been dramatic. I looked at them one last time. Good luck. I walked out while they laughed behind me. Every step felt heavy, but I didn't stop. Outside, my phone buzzed. Sarah's name flashed. You okay? She asked. I walked away, I said. From them? She asked. Yes. She exhaled. That took courage. It felt like failure, I admitted. It isn't, she said. It's survival. That night, Armin posted pictures online. Smiling faces. Expensive food. Success captions. Lena tagged him with a heart. I turned my phone face down. The next day, Armin called. You still have time. No, I said. You're making a mistake, he warned. I already made one, I replied. Trusting you. He went silent, then laughed. Don't blame us when you're broke. I've been broke before, I said. I survived. Rizwan messaged me later. Family should stick together. I replied, family doesn't steal. He didn't answer. Days passed. I worked quietly. Learned quietly. Saved quietly. Sarah met me after work. They're doing well, she said carefully. I know, I replied. Does it hurt? She asked. Yes, I said honestly. She nodded. Pain doesn't mean you're wrong. One evening, Lena showed up at my door. You look tired, she said. So do you, I replied. She stepped inside without asking. Armin's stressed. The pressure is high. That's not my problem, I said. She frowned. You used to care. I used to bleed for you, I replied. She bit her lip. You're changing. I had to, I said. She laughed bitterly. Don't pretend this is strength. It's peace, I said. She left angry. Weeks later, Armin passed me on the street. He didn't smile. Still proud, he asked. Yes, I said. He shook his head. We're rising without you. I know, I replied. He smirked. Enjoy watching. I watched. I waited. At night, alone, doubt whispered. Fear whispered louder. But I remembered the hospital bed. The beeping. The empty room. I won't beg again, I told myself. They laughed while I walked away. They didn't know I was walking towards something better. And this time, I didn't look back. I watched from the coffee shop as Armin scrolled through emails on his laptop. His face, once smug and confident, was now tight with tension. Lena sat beside him, frowning. I could hear their voices from a few tables away. We're losing investors, Armin said. His hand shook slightly. I don't understand. Everything looked perfect. It's your fault, Lena snapped. You rushed the deal. You didn't check anything. I checked, he yelled. I did everything right. I leaned back in my chair, pretending to read a book. I didn't need to intervene. The plan I had memorized 10 years ago was unfolding exactly as I had known it would. Lena's voice lowered, almost pleading. Maybe we can ask him for help. Armin's jaw tightened. I can't. Not now. I don't want him involved. I smiled faintly. They didn't see me. They didn't even know I was here. But they were already sinking. Later, Lena appeared at my door, hesitant. I need your advice, she said quietly. I studied her. Why now? Because I don't know what to do. Armin's panicking. The company's failing. I shrugged, trying to look casual. You'll figure it out. You always have before. Her eyes filled with tears. I trusted you once. I thought, maybe you'd help. I remember what happened, I said softly. I owe you nothing. She flinched, but didn't speak. I waited until she left. The next morning, Rizwan called me. I need to discuss a problem, he said. It's urgent. Go ahead, I replied. Everything is unraveling. Armin's decisions were reckless. Investors are pulling out. Everything we built, it's collapsing. I see, I said, keeping my voice neutral. You're calm, he said suspiciously. Why aren't you panicking? Because I don't need to, I said. You made the mistakes. I just remember them. There was silence on the line. Then Rizwan muttered, You're different. I learned, I said. And I don't repeat the same mistakes. As the days passed, news came in bits and pieces. Armin's company was hemorrhaging money. Lena and Armin argued constantly. Rizwan's schemes began to backfire. I didn't interfere. I didn't need to. Karma, patient and precise, was doing its work. One night, Sarah met me outside my apartment. You're watching them burn quietly, she said. I'm not burning them, I replied. I'm letting them face what they built. She shook her head. It's cold. You could help. I could, I admitted. But they don't deserve it. Her eyes softened. And you're finally free. I am, I said. And I've never felt more alive. Later, I sat alone and looked at my notebook. Every detail I remembered, every lesson, had led to this. I didn't feel joy in their downfall. I felt balance. The first cracks in their perfect world had become fractures, and soon everything would fall. And I would still stand, untouched, ready for the next step. Armin found me outside the building after sunset. You did this, he said, breath sharp. I looked at him. Did what? You knew, he snapped. You always knew this would happen. I shrugged. You didn't listen. He stepped closer. You let us fall. I stepped away, I said. You jumped. His voice cracked. I trusted you. I laughed quietly. So did I. He clenched his fists. Help me fix this. I shook my head. No. You owe me, he said. I paid my debt already, I replied. He stared like he didn't recognize me. You changed. I survived, I said. Lena appeared behind him, eyes red. Please, she whispered. Just talk to him. I crossed my arms. You didn't talk to me. She cried. I was scared. So was I said. She stepped forward. We can start over. I looked at her. You already did. She whispered, I made a mistake. I nodded. We all did. Rizwan arrived last, calm but pale. Let's be practical. I sighed. You always liked that word. He smiled weakly. We need your connections. You burned them, I said. You can rebuild, he insisted. For myself, I replied. Not for you. Armin slammed the wall. You're enjoying this. I shook my head. I'm ending it. Lena sobbed. You're cruel. I was kind, I said. Look where it led. Rizwan stepped closer. Family forgives. Family protects, I answered. Silence fell. Cars passed. Night deepened. Armin whispered, say something. I looked at him, then away. I said nothing. Lena reached for my hand. I stepped back. Rizwan sighed. So this is it. This was it years ago, I said. They stood there, broken, waiting. I walked away. Sarah waited across the street. You okay? I nodded. I think so. She walked beside me. You didn't shout. I didn't need to, I said. Does it hurt? She asked. Yes, I admitted. Do you regret it? She asked. I thought of machines beeping, empty rooms, cold smiles. No. She smiled softly. You're lighter. I stopped carrying their weight, I said. Days passed. News spread. Bankruptcy. Lawsuits. Blame. Armin messaged. Answer me. I didn't. Lena sent voice notes. I deleted them. Rizwan called. I blocked him. One night, Sarah asked, what if they change? I replied, then they'll change without me. She nodded. That's strength. I looked at the sky. It's peace. Later, alone, doubt knocked once. What if you're wrong? It whispered. I remembered dying. I already was, I answered. I closed my phone. They begged. I stayed silent. And for the first time in 2 lives, silence felt like freedom. Years later, I sit by the window, coffee in hand, watching the city wake. My life isn't perfect, but it's mine. Every decision, every sacrifice, led me here. I hear Sarah's laugh from the kitchen. She's making breakfast, just like she used to, steady and warm. "You're up early," I call. "I've been up for an hour," she replies, playful. "You should join me." I smile. I'm content here. She peeks through the door. Content? Is that your way of saying happy? Happy enough, I say. I don't need more. I glance at the newspaper on the table. Headlines scream Armin's bankruptcy, Lena's divorce, Rizwan's scandal. Part of me wants to feel satisfaction. Part of me feels nothing at all. Not a smile? Sarah asks, noticing my glance. I shake my head. It's not joy. It's closure. She sits beside me. You could have destroyed them completely. I didn't need to, I say. I let them live with their choices. Her hand brushes mine. And you? I live with mine, I say. And I've chosen carefully this time. I think of my mother, safe and proud. I think of the younger me, weak and desperate, trapped in betrayal. I smile faintly. I didn't just survive. I grew. Sarah tilts her head. Do you miss the old you? Sometimes, I admit. But that version would have been broken again. This me. I built deliberately. Outside, the city hums, indifferent. I sip my coffee and feel the weight of the past lift. Armin's failures, Lena's regrets, Rizwan's isolation, they're theirs, not mine. Do you ever think about revenge? She asks. Not anymore, I say. I realized revenge is loud. Peace is quiet. And it lasts longer. She smiles softly. I'm glad you chose yourself. I had no choice, I whisper. Not this time. I stand and stretch, feeling the sunlight on my face. I want to live fully, without looking back. Sarah joins me by the window. Then let's not. I nod. We won't. The news of their lives scrolls past my thoughts. Armin's empire crumbled. Lena's love turned cold. Rizwan's schemes failed. They may never forgive themselves. And me? Sarah asks. You're with me, I say. And that's enough. We sit in silence, watching the world move, knowing we're untouched by its chaos. Finally, I close my eyes and breathe deep. The past is gone. The pain is gone. What remains is choice, freedom, and the life I built with my own hands. I don't need applause. I don't need recognition. I just need peace. And for the first time, I feel complete.